guys, so we got some good news and some bad news, and it seems to kind of be the case with this build. I was driving the car and heard a clunking noise in the rear, and I thought maybe it was our shock repair had failed, or maybe a subframe issue or something like that. But what it turns out is when the previous owner replaced the wheel bearing, they didn't remove the little C-clip first and then pound out the old bearing. They actually just cut the hub with an angle grinder. So what happens now is every time you go around a corner or whatnot, the whole bearing is moving inside the hub. So we're gonna need a trailing arm replacement. So that's the bad news. The good news is I actually have a full rear suspension out of a 325. It's an automatic, so that means that this is an open 391 differential. And you guys have been asking for so long for me to get a welded diff. The differential that we have in the race car now is a 391, but it's a limited slip that's kind of worn out. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna build a dedicated, welded, locked rear end. So, we'll go sideways, hopefully a lot easier. So what I'm gonna do now is set up a little camera angle here for you guys, and I'm just gonna start tearing this thing apart. Again, we're looking for this right rear trailing arm and the differential. We're gonna have a buddy of mine weld that up for us. So sit back and enjoy. And the cool thing about this rear end coming from a sport model car is it actually has thicker front and rear sway bars. So it's a cheap, free, easy upgrade for us. Nice. All right, so like I said, it's about 100 degrees out and definitely 100% humidity, and still the drive shaft to differential bolts are seized on, and I've got to use heat to try to break them free. So I'm going to show you guys a little trick here. Maybe it'll help you, maybe not. I'm going to add some heat. All right, after a little bit of heat, you're going to throw on a wrench. In this case, these are 16 millimeter nuts. So that's on there nice and secure. Don't use the open end. But then you want to grab yourself a dead blow, and we're going to strike the wrench to snap it free. To get you guys a good shot here. And now that nut's free. 3 more to go. All right, last one. Now we can separate the drive shaft. Nice. All right, so since we're taking just the trailing arm here, and we've already loosened up the differential from the subframe, I know you guys are thinking, how are you going to keep the axle intact? I'm actually going to remove the axle from the differential on this side. And to do that, I'm actually going to take this upper control arm here. You can see the sway bar end link is already, the mount actually already broke free from this. So with one more 18 millimeter bolt here, this whole arm is out of the way, and then we've got access to the differential. So let's take that off now. And just a big shout out to all you BMW owners that live in northern climates or climates where they put salt on the roads to keep the ice from forming. Big shout out to you guys. You know how hard working on rusty cars can be. So I'll try to give you a good shot of the inner bolt here. You guys can see the reason we got to drop the differential before I can take this upper arm off. They actually didn't give you enough room. Let's see if I can move it for you. Enough room to take the bolt out without hitting the differential. So that's the reason if you have to replace any of your control arms, you've got to drop the diff. Alright, so with the diff unbolted, all I'm going to do is lift up on the subframe here somehow while holding the video camera. Going to lift it up just to clear the differential enough. Maybe. Alright, so we got both bolts off this guy. Nice. And we've got just the electrical connector for the ABS. So I'll take that off real quick. That actually wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. It's amazing what you can do with the breaker bar. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set aside all these extra suspension components, and fingers crossed, if I can get access to like a blast booth, I want to sandblast everything. And what I want you guys to do is post down in the comments below what color should we repaint the entire rear subframe assembly. Alright, so now you guys can see my master plan. I've got my E12 Torx and a little extension on the end of a breaker bar here. And I'm just going to go through and release the axle from the differential. So there we go. All right, axle is off the differential. All right, now you guys can see my plans coming together. We got one more bolt. Kind of hard to see down here. I apologize for the direct sunlight, but don't really have a choice. Anyway. I totally agree. Impact tools are awesome. Yay! Sledgehammer. Move this through. Give me a minute. Yay! All right, with that done, nice. Oh, here we go. We got ourselves a 391 that is soon going to become our welded drift differential. So, like I said, go ahead and post up in the comments below what color should we make this thing. Let me know. All right, so here's the deal. The lower control arm bolt, although I've got the nut off the end there, the bolt won't release from this control arm. So seeing as how this is the last piece of the puzzle, what I'm going to do instead, now that we've got the differential out, set you guys up right here. I'm actually going to remove the one inner bolt there, and we'll just take this whole trailing arm, control arm setup as a whole. So. Way easier. Let's see if this thing moves now. All right. All right, so there we have it. Now we've got our new trailing arm, which we got to clean up and put into the race car. And we've got our spare differential here that's going to be welded up and turned into a drift differential. So like I said, I'm sweating like crazy for you guys. It's 1,000,000 degrees outside, but I'm pumped to get this thing drifting. So let's go weld this diff. Now let's get this stuff loaded up into our specialized BMW parts mover. How am I supposed to videotape walking a wheelbarrow with one hand holding a camera? This is gonna work.